The Akwa Ibom High Court in Uyo State has sentenced Uduak Akpan, the first accused in the murder of Iniubong Umoren, to death by hanging. In the more than 2 hours judgment by the presiding judge, Bassey Nkanang, the convict was found guilty of rape and murder and sentenced to be hanged on the neck till he dies. The court, however, discharged and acquitted his father, Akpan, and sister, Bassey, who were standing trial for accessory after the fight to murder. And shortly after the pronouncement, and more drama ensued when Mr. Akpan attempted to escape, but it, however, took the intervention of the police to force the attempted escape. Iniubong Umoren, a graduate of philosophy from the University of Uyo, was killed on April 2021 by the suspect who lured her to his residence with a fake job interview. She was also raped in the attack and buried in a shallow grave in the suspect's apartment. Now, joining me via Zoom to analyze this is a lawyer, founder, and executive director of Vitos Africa, Bukky Shonibare. Thank you for joining me.
Yes, I am.
All right, thank you. What are your thoughts on this judgment, especially when state governors really sign death warrants?
Although governors rarely sign death warrants, this is a welcome judgment nonetheless, especially in today's Nigeria, where women and girls continue to face all forms of violence, which are violations of their rights and freedoms. Nigeria is party to many international human rights instruments and has a due diligence obligation to prevent, to investigate, to prosecute, to punish, and to compensate when violations of rights like this happen. For Iniubong, she was denied a right to life as guaranteed in Section 33 of the 1999 Constitution as amended. So that means that even if governors are not signing death warrants, this judgment is still welcome nonetheless.
Also, do you believe death penalty helps to curb violent crimes?
First, we must note that the judgment that was given in this matter is two-pronged. First is the fact that Uduak was sentenced to 14 years imprisonment for the offense of rape, as prescribed by the Violence Against Persons Prohibitions Act, which Akwa Ibom State is a party to. The presiding judge, Justice Bassey, then also pronounced the death sentence in compliance with Section 319 sub 1 of the Criminal Code Act, which basically says that anybody who commits the offense of murder shall be sentenced to death. Now, having established that, I am of the personal opinion that death penalty does not necessarily help to curb violent extremism or violent crimes. Death sentence, admittedly, can help to deter others, but preventing violent crimes like this require a transformative approach. And when such crimes have happened, I think a corrective approach should rather be deployed. Correctionally, I think that rather than eliminate, I would rather repair. The way our society is designed, there are more Uduaks out there, and which brings me to the transformative approach. By transformation, I mean we must consider, it is in consideration of the fact that we deal with the very reason for which these violent crimes happen in the first place. If not, we'll keep producing criminals like Uduak. How many would we sentence to death? How many are we going to kill? And my last point on this question is societal transformation then becomes necessary as a way to address the deeply rooted stereotypes for why women and girls are primary targets of this kind of rapes and this kind of sexual violence-related crimes. These crimes are rooted in the quest of the perpetrators to exert power and domination over their victims. And this sense of power is a function of a stereotypical norms, cultures, traditions, practices, prejudices that subjugate women.
All right, finally, before I let you go, how do you think we can protect our women in today's society against crimes like this?
Good question. I think that we must start with social transformation as a way to address the unequal power imbalance and power relations between men and women in Nigerian societies as it is in other societies. This means that at all levels, national, state, and grassroots communities, government and all state actors must deliberately address why women are targeted for rape and sexual violence related crimes like this, which happens to them on the basis of the agenda. This doesn't mean that men and boys don't get abused, but we know that in instances like this, women and girls are disproportionately affected. In practical terms, by transformation, if we look at the Iniubong's case, she was lured and into something that has to do with job seeking or job interview. This means that the very process that led to her death must actually be scrutinized or be investigated. And by so, I mean that the state government must work with employers, must work with recruiters to identify the loopholes in recruitment processes that criminals like Uduak are taking advantage of. If they are luring job seekers, then there is, more of like a process that needs to be looked into. And my closing thought on that would be that the government must then work collaboratively with business owners and recruiters to make sure that those goals are breached through. First, job seekers must be able to, for instance, verify the authenticity of that recruitment process. They must also be able to log, their presence when they go for these job interviews.
All right, Bukky joined us via Zoom from Oxford, United Kingdom. Thank you very much for your contribution so far.
Thanks for having me.